Hillary was interviewed by a very brave female reporter in Tampa. She may not have a job much longer, but wow, watch.
I want to talk about your health for a moment. It was startling to many Americans to see you get into that van. I certainly hope you're feeling much better.
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you that I know that you provided documents from your doctor saying that you are fit to be the President of the United States.
Right.
Some doctors have said, because of your age, as well as your opponent's age, that you could be at higher risk for dementia or even Alzheimer's, and have suggested that you take some neurocognitive tests. Would you be willing to do that?
You know, I am very sorry I got pneumonia. I'm very glad that antibiotics took care of it, and that's behind us now.
All right, then she followed up.
I've met the standard that everybody running for president has met in terms of releasing information about my health. I have to say my opponent has not met that standard. So I am very happy that we have put out all the information that there is that reflects on my health, and I am physically, mentally healthy and fit to be president of the United States.
You want to see me run? You want to see me run? And then the woman followed up, the reporter followed up.
Would you be willing to take those tests, though?
There's no need for that. I mean, the information is very clear, and the information, as I said, meets the standards that every other person running for president has ever had to meet. And I'm happy that we've met and even exceeded them in certain ways.
All right. That woman, by the way, the reporter was Sarah Fazin down in Tampa. Again, she might be on the unemployment line real soon. I don't know. Joining me now, Republican political consultant, 30-year political advisor and confidant to Donald Trump, Roger Stone. He's also the author of the book, The Clintons' War on Women, which is now out in paperback. He hosts his own radio show, which he'll tell us about. It airs every Saturday. Roger, what's up, my friend?
Great to be here, Steve.
Love the hat. Another one from the collection of your late father, I presume?
This was my dad's Homburg. You have no idea the way you feel connected to your father or a parent when you're wearing this. I only recently got it from my mom when she passed away. So, yeah, I love it.
I love that you wear it. Okay, you just heard this brave reporter ask Hillary if she would take a neurological exam to put all doubts to rest, and she gave one of her cackles. Let me combine that with this news off of the Drudge Report. There will be no breaks, Roger, in the debate on Monday. No breaks at all, 90 minutes, no coughing breaks, no health breaks, no bathroom breaks, nothing.
Yes.
So combine the two. She laughed and mocked the reporter's question about taking a test, and she's going to have to be out there for 90 minutes.
Well, I happen to know that the Clinton people had preferred a seated debate. This will be standing. The Clinton people had preferred several breaks, commercial breaks. It will be wall-to-wall with no interruptions, both insisted upon by Donald Trump. So it's going to be very interesting to see whether Hillary can actually stay on her feet for the entire 90 minutes. Look, the entire question of her health is not a conspiracy theory, like some of her supporters try to say. She's clearly seen wearing special glasses that are used for an eye condition, an epileptic condition, as I understand it. She has changed her story. First, it was heat prostration. Then Bill said it was the flu. Then they said it was pneumonia. Then Bill told CBS she passes out frequently. Then CBS got caught editing that out of the interview. This woman doesn't have the truth in her. It just doesn't exist.
She also, according to Drudge, her people wanted a stool. They wanted to raise her, add to her 5'4" frame, and they were told no, but they are building a podium for her, a custom podium, which will accommodate for the difference in stature. I don't know how they do that exactly, but are you surprised that she wanted the stool, and are you surprised they said no?
Well, one of the first and most interesting things that you note when you meet Donald Trump in person is his size, not just his physical size, but his stature. He has a way of filling a room. All eyes go to him. He's got a commanding presence. I saw this also in Ronald Reagan when I worked for him. Hillary is a small woman in so many ways.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's going to be very interesting. So let's talk a little bit about the debate. I keep hearing Hillary's doing nothing but studying, yet she has had very small events. She was in Miami at a fundraiser. Someone who was there, now this is third-hand information, but someone who was there told someone I know who told me that she had a coughing fit at this fundraiser in Miami. But she's supposedly studying, practicing, and Donald is not. Is that going to hurt him?
Well, Donald is practicing in his own way. He's not a career politician, and therefore I don't expect that he's going to have a stand-in and mock debates and a firing board of people throwing questions out. That's just not his style. Donald will take notes, ask questions, go around to his advisors, ask a specific question like, well, if she says this, should I say that? Do you think I should raise this issue? But he's his own man.
Right.
He's not programmed.
Stay where you are. We're going to pick up more on the debate, more with Roger, another full segment with Roger Stone. 877 Newsmax, if you want to call in, do it now.
States have us way up. People are starting to get a little bit nervous, folks. They're starting to get nervous.
But we'll see what happens. Look, I think we're going to win this thing. I think people are tired of what's happening in this country.
All right, that was Donald Trump last night. Right now, Roger Stone is with us, Republican political consultant, 30-year political advisor, and confidant to Donald Trump, and author of The Clintons' War on Women, available in paperback now, as I said. Your radio show tomorrow, where could people hear it and when?
It's called The Stone Cold Truth. It's from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock Eastern Time on the Genesis Communications Network. You can go to gcn.com and hear it in live stream, or if you are lucky enough to live in Austin, several other markets. I'm having a lot of fun with it, Steve. It's great.
No,
really great.
You're a natural at it. Okay, folks, 877 Newsmax if you want to weigh in. We'll get to our first caller in a second, but I want to pick up on the debate, Roger. And, there were two ways. We're told Hillary's preparing for a Donald Trump that we saw in the Republican debates, and she's preparing for a Donald Trump that we see lately when he reads the prompter and much more down to earth and much more calm and reserved. She's going to try to get under his skin. Do you think she will succeed? Like, you hate women, or you said this about that, or maybe even Lester Holt will say something that might set him off. Is he prepared for that, and can he resist?
Well, I think they do so at their own peril, given the vulnerabilities, for example, that Hillary Clinton has on the women's issues and her husband's productivities and her experience in covering them up. That would be an egregious mistake. I think she will draw first blood. I don't think Trump will go in the aggressor. But if she starts it, he'll finish it. That's my opinion.
So she'll start. Okay, well, that's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting. All right. I also want to ask you about the enthusiasm gap and the polls. I mean, you've been around politics for a long, long time. Do you buy into this? And it's it's happened in, I could give specific races out in California in a mayor's race with a black mayor. But do you believe when people are asked in the polls that there is a good number of them that are afraid to say Donald Trump that actually will come out and vote Donald Trump?
We've actually seen this empirically. If you use a automated poll, meaning an automated computerized voice, push 1 for Trump, push 2 for Clinton, push 3 for undecided, and you contrast those polls where a live operator is used, Trump does substantially 3 to 4 points better in the automated poll, meaning the average person does not want to tell a stranger that they're going to vote for Trump, perhaps because it's not politically chic, it's not acceptable, it's not politically correct. So yes, there's an undervote for Trump. There's also a group of people who heretofore have not been in politics, who have come into the process. In Florida, for example, in the Republican primary, 375,000 more Republicans voted for Trump than voted for Romney in the primary. And when you examine those people, they are people who did not vote 4 years ago or 6 years ago even. So, yes, I think there's an undervote for Trump that is recessed.
All right, let's get to the first phone call and say hello to Tim, who's in Arkansas. Hello, Tim. Welcome to America Talks Live. You're on with Steve and Roger Stone, sir.
Hey, how you doing, Steve?
Good, thank you.
I want to say hi to Roger out there, too.
Hey, Steve?
Hey, my name's Tim from Arkansas. I was just wondering, I heard you say a while ago that Hillary is going to have a custom podium built. We're tax-paying American citizens. What's that going to cost us?
I don't know who's. I think the Presidential Commission or the Debate Commission pays for that, but it says here from Drudge, the Presidential Debate Commission settled an early flashpoint when Clinton demanded a step stool at the podium. Campaign Chairman John Podesta expressed concern that Hillary would be dwarfed by 6'2" Trump. The request was quickly rejected. The commission is allowing for a custom-made podium. So she's going to custom make the podium, which makes more sense. I don't know, again, what that's going to do, if she could step into the podium somehow, but we'll see. But that's not going to cost the taxpayer any money.
No, but that is part of the problem here, Steve, which is the Commission on Presidential Debates is not a commission, not appointed by the president, and not about debates. This is a Republican-Democrat syndicate operation. In my opinion, Gary Johnson, the Libertarian Party candidate, and Jill Stein, the Green Party candidate, should be allowed in this debate. Why? They are on the ballot in enough states to theoretically win 270 electoral votes. Getting on the ballot is not a piece of cake. It could not be done without wide viability. And therefore, elementary fairness would allow those candidates in the debate. Now, if you go do a political calculation and both of them are in the debate, it would actually be net minus Hillary, not Trump.
Right. No, understood. Okay, listen, Tim, I appreciate the call, sir. Thank you very much. Before we go to our next call, Roger, Anthony Weiner. The NYPD and supposedly the FBI now looking into his latest sexting with reportedly with a 15-year-old girl. I mean, this is obviously a sick man, but I mean, if he did this, he's got to be prosecuted. And how, if at all, do you believe this, affects the Anthony Weiner, Uma, Hillary connection, even though Uma says she's leaving him?
Well, actually, I wish the voters would focus a bit more on his estranged wife, because Uma has some connections that I think are problematic from a national security point of view. She very clearly was a member of the World Muslim League. She very clearly was the assistant editor of a radical Islamic journal, the Institute of Minority Muslim Affairs. Both of those organizations funded by Sheikh Abdul Omar Nassif, also funded the Rabitha Trust, which in turn funded the attack on the United States on 9/11, according to our Justice Department. So how somebody with these connections that go all the way through her family, both her parents and her brothers, equally active in these radical pro-terrorist groups, that's deeply troubling to me, because as you know, Steve, she has had access to the highest level top secret documents. I'd like to see more focus on Uma rather than her pervert, soon-to-be ex-husband.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, let's go to Steve in Idaho. And you must have had a premonition because you called the other caller, Steve, inadvertently, and you must have known Steve was on hold from Idaho. Hello, Steve. How are you, sir? Welcome aboard.
Well, thank you. I'm doing great.
Well, what can we do for you today, sir?
Well, I also had this strange question about why more isn't being made of the connection between Uma Abedin and the State Department and Hillary Clinton, plus Uma Abedin's apparent connection somehow to Islam, where she wrote papers or something for them. I've heard this on several other sites before, other places, but I don't see a lot of it on the, the alphabet.
Well, you're never going to see it on the alphabet. We've talked about it here, especially when the New York Post, Paul Sperry, did a story a few weeks ago. We went in depth, and Roger just talked about it. Roger, you want to weigh in again?
Yeah, I've written 2 extensive pieces for the Breitbart News on this. I actually posed 5 questions Hillary Clinton will not answer about Huma Abedin. Now, I think it is disgraceful that John McCain, of all people, has come out in a full-throated defense of Huma. Now, here's my question, Steve. Is that connected to the $1 million that he just received from the Saudis for the McCain Institute? That's kind of like the Clinton Foundation. You know, the Saudis throw big money around. Huma is a Saudi. Huma, in Vogue magazine, recently referred in a glowing profile to her mother as a feminist. Her mother is the leading advocate for genital mutilation in the Muslim world. Talk about trying to dress that up. So I wish there would be more focus on Huma. I have no evidence that leads me to believe that she is a loyal American citizen.
By the way, you get a thank you for the call, Steve. We got a minute, but I'm seeing breaking news that the Massachusetts Supreme Court ruled that black men sometimes are justified in running away from cops because of the suffering they've had under racial profiling. This is not The Onion reporting this. This is CNN. I'm not blaming CNN. I'm sure it's legit. 30 seconds. Can you even imagine this, that they have a right to run from cops?
Look, the violence in this country and the racial problems have only become exacerbated under our first black president. This is something that I know concerns friends of mine who are black and white. It has to be resolved. Steve, we must live together in harmony and be one country.
Absolutely. And Hillary's been dividing and Donald Trump's been uniting. Roger, thank you, sir. Really appreciate it as always. We'll speak to you soon. Up next, we'll talk about this court decision on our panel. Don't go away.